So today we're going to demonstrate first of all the Elman induction. And the Elman induction uses a technique called fractionation, or a process called fractionation, which takes the client in and out of trance, each time deepening the trance more profoundly. So let's go. So okay, Ian, first of all, let's use some diaphragmatic breathing. So what I'd like you to do is just close your eyes and breathe deeply into your diaphragm, breathing out any tension, any anxiety, and breathing down into your diaphragm, breathing in a sense of lightness, a sense of peace, and breathing out any tensions or anxiety. That's good. Now in a moment, I'm going to count up from 1 to 3. When I reach 3, your eyes will open. They will follow my hand in an upward, then a downward direction. And as my hand comes down, your eyes will close and you will go into a much deeper state of trance. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, and open up, down and into a much more profound depth of trance. And 1, 2, 3, eyes open and down, feeling your eyes becoming heavy and leaden, going into a much deeper, profound depth of trance. And one more time, 1, 2, 3, follow my hand up, coming down and down into a much more profound depth of trance. That's so good. Nice deep breathing. And now you can see Ian is in a beautiful state of relaxation, and we're ready to progress with our intervention. Now I'm going to demonstrate what are known as suggestibility tests. This is to test how compliant your client is going to be, or how suitable your client is going to be for the hypnotherapeutic process. So first of all, we're going to demonstrate what's called magnetic fingers. Okay, Ian, so concentrate on that gap between your fingers now. And you'll feel them pulling together as though there are two powerful magnets in the end of your fingers. Feel that energy between them, pulling your fingers together. Feel as though there's a vice on your fingers, and the more you resist, the more they want to come together. Concentrating on that gap, and you can see now the gap's closing as a vice-like grip is bringing them fingers together. That's good. Concentrate, and there you go. The fingers are totally together. That's good. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate another suggestibility test, sometimes called arm levitation or heavy hand, light hand. The name is really immaterial, the process is what's important here. Right, okay Ian, so what I'd like you to do now is close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths deep into your diaphragm and let go and relax. And now I want you to use your imagination. Remember what Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. That's good. Breathing in a sense of peace and breathing out any emotional or mental debris, any stress. Breathing deeply into your diaphragm and breathing out. That's good. Now what I'd like you to do for me, Ian, is use your imagination. As Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. And good hypnotherapy clients must have a good imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Let your imagination flow into this process I'm going to relay to you now. So first of all, outstretch your arms That's good. And I'd like you to turn your left palm towards the ceiling. That's really good. That's good. And now what I'm going to do is I'd like you to imagine there's a heavy encyclopedia in your left arm. And the encyclopedia, as well as gravity, start to pull your left arm down towards the ground. Simultaneously, in your right hand, there's a helium balloon connected with string, which begins to pull your right hand up towards the ceiling. So the heavy encyclopedia, coupled with gravity, drags your left hand down towards the floor, whilst your right hand is elevated via the helium balloon. Allow your imagination to flow into this process, Ian. Heavy left hand, encyclopedia, gravity, getting heavier and heavier, whilst your right hand is being pulled towards the ceiling because it's attached to this very light helium balloon. Imagine all the time, imagination is flowing into the process. The helium balloon is elevating your right hand towards the ceiling, whilst the encyclopedia and gravity draw your left hand down towards the floor. I'm allowing your imagination to flow into the process, Ian. That's so good. Your right hand is being elevated by the helium balloon, whilst your left hand is being drawn towards the floor by the heavy encyclopedia. That's good. Now I'm going to demonstrate an arm catalepsy induction. So this means that we're going to strengthen the tonality of the muscles in the arm, and the arm will actually stay rigid for a while, and we utilise that procedure to deepen the trance state. So here we go. So Ian, what I'd like you to do for me first of all is just take a couple of deep breaths. Breathe in again into your diaphragm. Diaphragmatic breathing is very important here. So breathe deeply in into your diaphragm and close your eyes. Concentrate on that warm breath going into your diaphragm and expanding your stomach. And then breathe out a sense of peace. And in a second, I'm going to pick up your hand, but you'll remain concentrating on your breath. I'll pick up your hand and we'll do that now. And I'd like you just to allow your hand to float on my finger. All the time, taking deep breaths. Deep breaths into your stomach, into your diaphragm. And in a second, Ian, I'm going to let go and your arm will stay there. And what I want you to do is only allow your arm to come down, to descend towards your lap at the pace that you will go into a very deep state of trance. Here we go. So let's just hold it there. And now we can see that Ian's arm is in a state of catalepsy. And Ian, just allow that arm to drop at the speed that you feel you're going to go into a deep depth of trance. Just allow it in your own time, breathing into your diaphragm and breathing out. And just allow that arm to come down as you feel yourself sinking into a very deep somnambulistic state of trance. Feel that arm beginning to descend as you descend deep within to that chamber of transformation within you. Just allow that arm to become heavy and leaden. As you become heavy and leaden and feel yourself going deep within to that centre where all change is possible. That's so good, watching that cataleptic arm descend towards your lap, feeling heavy and leaden as you go deeper into a state of trance, allowing that arm now to come down towards your lap and to rest gently in your lap as you go 100 times deep within now, deep into that centre of transformation. That's so good. Today we're going to demonstrate what's called parts integration. Have you ever had that feeling where you say, well, part of me would like to give up smoking, but part of me wouldn't? And initially, this seems like we've got a conflict going on within us, that both parts want something different for us. But this is not the case, because we'll find actually that at a low level, it appears that both parts, the part that wants to stop smoking, for instance, and the part that doesn't want to stop smoking, are in absolute conflict and want different things. But as we do a process which is called chunking up, asking questions, which you're going to see me demonstrate in a moment, you'll find that at the upper levels, the upper echelons of consciousness, that both of these parts want the same thing for you. One thing I find with other videos I've seen is that people tend to just do the chunking up process and realise that both parts want the same thing for you, and then it ends. To me, this has not actually resolved the problem, the issue that faces our client. So we need to talk to both parts in a sense and see if they can come up with a different strategy whereby both their needs can be fulfilled. And today Ian's going to act as the client, and we're going to do a part integration for weight loss. So here Ian has got part of him that wants to lose weight, and part of him that enjoys eating would like to carry on. So we're going to look at that. Also, during this process, during this session, I'm going to demonstrate the descending count induction, and that's what we're going to start with today, and then move on to the part integration procedure. So Ian, if you can just close your eyes. And what I'd like you to do is breathe as normal, deeply into your diaphragm. Breathing deeply into your diaphragm, into your unconscious mind. And breathing out as though you're blowing hot soup, nice and slow. Breathing in a sense of peace and relaxation, and breathing out any emotional and mental debris. That's good. And in a second, I'm going to ask you to count down from 100. And you may find after a few seconds the numbers begin to drop out of your mind. Let's begin that process now, and every time you descend a number, you'll feel yourself going deeper into a trance. So start now with 100.
100. 99.
Breathing deep into your diaphragm.
98.
Breathing deeply. Each time you descend a number,
97.
you go deeper into yourself, deeper into a state
96.
of trance. You may feel at some point you go that deep into a sense of trance
95.
that the numbers elude you. That's okay. Going deeper now, deeper into a state of relaxation. That's good. So whilst Ian is in his state of relaxation, I just reiterate, we've just used the descending count to deepen his state of trance. And on each descending count, we reinforce the feeling of relaxation. And we have him counting, and we suggest that the numbers will fall out of his mind, which has happened. So now what we will do, we'll move on to the part integration. And for this, I need to talk to Ian. But at the moment, he's just relaxed. He'll be in the alpha brainwave state of relaxation, light trance, which is fine for the process we're about to embark on. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to speak to Ian, and what I'd like you to do, Ian, I'd like you to turn over your left palm. And on your left palm, I'd like you to imagine the part of you that wants to diet, the part of you that wants to lose weight. I'd like you to imagine that on your hand. And if it helps you to personify it, to imagine it with a face, as a colour, as a feeling, whatever, that's just fine. But most importantly, I'd like to ask this part some questions. So first of all, for what purpose would you like to lose weight?
Be healthy.
So you'd like to lose weight to be healthy. So for what purpose would you like to be healthy?
Feel good.
Feel good. Look good. So for what purpose do you want to feel good and look good?
Get nice clothes.
So you'd like to get nice clothes. And what will nice clothes do for you, Ian?
Give me freedom.
Give you freedom. Okay, so what does freedom give to you, Ian?
Happiness.
Happiness. So what does happiness give to you, Ian?
Happiness.
Happiness. So I've chunked up as far as I can go there, and you can see that now Ian has stopped at happiness. So what I'd like to do now, Ian, is I'd like you to turn over your right palm and imagine the part of you that doesn't want to lose weight and doesn't want to diet. Imagine it coming out on the hand. Again, if it helps you to personify it, to imagine it as a colour or a feeling, even give it a name, then do this. But most of all, what's important is the questions I'm about to ask. So, for what purpose does this part of you not want to lose weight?
Strength.
Strength. So, if you stay heavy, you'll have strength. So, what will strength give to you?
Protection.
So, strength brings you protection. For what purpose do you need protecting?
To be safe.
To be safe. Okay, that's understandable. And for what purpose do you need to be safe?
Just gives you freedom.
So safety gives you freedom. And for what purpose do you need freedom?
Happiness.
Okay, so we're back to happiness. And why do you need happiness?
To be happy.
Happy. So once again, at the upper echelons, when we chunk up, when we ask these questions, for what purpose do you need this? we've come to happiness. But here we can see that both parts have Ian's happiness at heart. They just want to achieve it by different methods. One feels that he needs to keep on the weight because he sees weight to be conducive with strength, which is not always the case. And strength makes him feel safe. So this is where the weight may be helpful to Ian. Also, health-wise, on the other hand, he wants to lose weight. So what I would like to do here, Ian, I would like both of these parts to talk to each other, to realise that actually they both have your best interest and your welfare, your physical and healthy welfare at heart. And I'd like them to communicate to each other and come up with something that can achieve both their goals, but in a manner that's in alignment with your optimal health. So is there anything you can do, anything that interests you, that you think will achieve the aims of both these parts?
I could do Tai Chi.
So Tai Chi. So Tai Chi is extremely relaxing. I take it this gives you a sense of happiness, sense of peace and relaxation, but it's also a martial art. When it's speeded up, you do it very slowly when you practice it, but when it's speeded up, it's a martial art. And what we're saying here is that this is a way of achieving your goal without putting the weight on. Here you can actually exercise through Tai Chi, continue to lose weight, but at the same time you can pacify both parts because you're losing weight and you're also maintaining the ability to protect yourself, which gives you that freedom, which gives you that happiness. So, what I'd like you to do now is bring both your hands together and unify these two parts. Bring them together. That's good. Just bring the two hands together and feel this integration taking place within you, that no longer is the apart conflict. There's just a unified whole that has your optimal health and happiness at heart. Is bring your hands slowly together and integrate these two parts. As we can now see, you no longer have a part conflict within you. You have integration, and bringing your hands together is symbolic of this integration, and feel this sense of wholeness developing within, and both these parts becoming one, unifying, integrating with a desire to reach your optimal health and bring you happiness through the pursuit of Tai Chi. That's good.
Now I'd like you to take some nice deep breaths, breathing in through the mouth and right down into your diaphragm. Nice and gently breathing in, breathing out. Nice and gently. Breathing in, drifting down and relaxing. Nice and gently. Nice and gently. That's good. Now I'd like you to feel your awareness drifting back. Drifting back. Another time, another place, another body, another face. drifting down to the depths of time. Feel yourself drifting down to another time, another place, another body, another face. Drifting back and back and back to another time, another place, another body, another face. Now in a moment now, I'm going to count down from 10 to 1, making you more relaxed and drifting back in time. So when I get to number 1, you'll be really relaxed and in a different time, a different place, and in a different body with a different face. And 10, relaxing down and back and down. 9, 8, nice and slowly now. 7, concentrating on your breathing. 6, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Can you tell me where you are?
York, vague. Just make it out. York. I'm in York. It smells. There's lots of people, but the smell is horrible.
And what's the year?
14th century. 14th century, sometime. Narrow streets. Smell. Bad smell. Narrow streets. Lots of people. Lots of people.
Tell me more about York.
Narrow streets. Little houses crammed together. Little streets, narrow streets, little houses crammed together, lots of people, noise, animals, people got pigs in their backyards. They've got other animals too. Pigs. I see the pigs. And the smell. The horrible smell. Lots of waste and rubbish outside the little cramped houses in the narrow streets. The toilets are just outside, pond. They just go in the pond, smell bad, and the smell of offal in the shambles, the narrow streets.
And do you have a name?
My name is Gal. My name is Galfridus. Galfridus. Just Galfridus.
What are you wearing?
I'm wearing motley patchwork, brightly coloured patchwork coat and pointed hat. That's what jesters wear. Minstrel, jester. That's what I do. I travel. I'm in York, but I travel. And I entertain people at the markets. And I have a number of skills. I tell jokes and make people laugh. And some people think I'm an idiot. People think jesters are idiots, are fools. But I'm not. Beneath my comedic face and my jokes, there's a serious message that I relay to the people. I do it in a covert way. I'm rebelling. There's lots of corruption in this smelly place. The rich are rich, and the poor live in squalor and dirt. And through my comedy, I relay a message. I hope to cause a rebellion, so the poor people rebel against the rich, the downtrodden poor people that live in squalor must start to uprise and upsurge against the rich people. So I entertain and I relay my message through my comedy.
So where do you live?
I don't live anywhere. I'm a traveller. I travel. I'm in York now, and I lay my head down anywhere I can of a night time, and I travel.
Let's leave that there and move slowly forward in your life. What are you doing now?
I've been travelling again. I'm getting older now. More difficult to travel all the time. I needed a place to settle. So against my better judgment, I'm working for one of the noblemen, and I live I live in his big house.
Does this nobleman have a name?
Robert. His name is Robert Appleton. He lives in a big, huge house. He's rich, and he employs me to entertain him and to entertain his friends. I have many entertainment skills. I tell stories. I tell stories about people and events and turn them humorous. I can juggle. I can tell jokes. My favorite pursuit is I play the lute, an instrument. This helps me express myself. When I play the lute, I feel a connection with the instrument emotionally, and it helps me to express myself. I don't want to stay working for this man because he treats me badly. Robert Arnold. He treats me with disdain and uses me. But I was tired, and I have a bed, and I have food, but I feel I must move on. I must get back to my purpose and carry on the upsurge and help the people who live in squalor.
Okay, let's move on towards the end of your life. What year is it?
I can see a 1, a 3, and a 5, and a 1. The year is 1351. I am 33 years of age, and I'm weak, and my skin is black, and I'm alone. I'm alone, and my skin is black, and I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding, and I'm not breathing properly. I've got the plague. Lots of people have got the plague, and I'm slipping away. Weak, weak, weak.
Okay, now what I want you to do for me is see this scene playing out on a television screen in black and white. And as you're watching the scene, let it just drift down dim and dim until the screen goes really black. and the scene fades away. Now in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. And on 5, you will be back in the room feeling lovely and refreshed. And 1, feeling the awareness coming back between the windows of your eyes. And 2, feeling your feet firmly embedded on the floor. 3, bringing your awareness back to this time and this place. And 4, feel yourself beginning to awaken. And 5, wide awake, open your eyes and feel good.
Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate how to close a session, and this is really important, the procedure we use to close the session. And the way we do an ascending count normally from 1 to 5, so we're counting upwards. To take somebody down into trance, the usual method is a descending count, to count backwards, to count downwards. But when we're bringing someone up to the normal level of awareness, it's normally conducive to do this with an ascending count. In other words, counting up from 1 to 5. So I'm going to demonstrate this. Now, also, I like to center a person's awareness back within the body, because their awareness can drift when they're in hypnosis. Also, I like to ground them so that they feel the feet against the floor and the pull of gravity. Then we can reinforce what we've done within the session, and then we bring their awareness up. But all the time our voice should become slightly louder and the tempo should become slightly quicker, so that we are bringing them out of trance. If we keep our voice slow, that's going to be conducive to keeping them in a trance. We want to do it quicker and we want to make it slightly louder. So, here we go. So Ian, on 1, bring your awareness back behind the windows of your eyes so that you feel centered in your body. And on 2, feel the gentle pull of gravity on your shoulders. And on 3, feel your feet firmly against the ground so you're grounded and centering. And on 4, bear in mind all of them new strategies that we've implanted in your unconscious mind. And on 5, wide awake, eyes open. So also you can see at the end I may give a signal by clicking my fingers, or I might just say on 5 you will be wide awake and refreshed. But always make it an enjoyable experience at the end. So now I'm going to demonstrate the relaxing Deepener. And it's important here that we engage all the sense modalities. What do I mean by sense modalities? What I mean by sense modalities are sight, hearing, so we have visual, auditory, kinesthetic, which is feeling, olfactory, which is smell, and also gustatory, which is taste. So I want to engage all them sense modalities, or most of them, during this experience, because if I say to Ian, you will see this and you will see that, and he doesn't think visually, he's going to struggle and the process is not going to be very effective. So during this relaxing Deepener, I'm going to engage all the sense modalities, just like this. So Ian, allow this soothing scene to come to mind. You find yourself in a beautiful meadow. It's a beautiful spring day and the sun is beginning to rise over the hill. as the sun rises. It catches the dewdrops which are on the plants and the leaves of the trees, and as the sunlight catches these dewdrops, it splits into the primary colours of the rainbow, casting a beautiful hue over the meadow. As you amble slowly round the meadow, you can feel the texture of the grass beneath your feet. You watch as the tall trees reach out to the clear blue skies and sway in the gentle breeze, to and fro, to and fro, the deeper you go, as you feel that gentle, warm breeze caressing your face. The fragrance of wild flowers hangs in the air, and you can hear the sound of the birds singing in the hedgerows with the joy of a new day, feeling the texture of the grass beneath your feet, hearing them birds sing. As you amble slowly towards the sounds of a trickling stream in the distance, you decide to consume an apple that you've brought with you for your journey. And you take a bite of that apple and you enjoy as it hits your taste buds. All the time, you can feel the soft grass beneath your feet as you amble on slowly towards this stream. It's time now to demonstrate one of Milton Erickson's favourite techniques, metaphor, and I'm going to do this with Ian through the scenario of a stream. So here we go. Now Ian, you find yourself standing beside a small stream, and you watch the fluidity of the water, and your mind begins to become fluid and flow easily. And just like the stream finds the path of least resistance round the obstacles, the rocks that are in its way, you too will start to find the path of least resistance around any of your problems in the future. Issues and problems, your mind will flow around. Your mind will find a path of least resistance, just like this stream does. And just like water can cut its way over time through the most strongest of rocks, densest of rocks. And your mind can also become this way, laser-like, and cut its way, just like water, through any obstacles that are presented throughout your life. So Ian, allow your mind now to become fluid like water and flow and find the path of least resistance round any obstacles that life presents. And as this stream and your mind flow down, they are joined and other streams merge and become stronger. The stream becomes a river, and now you feel the stream of your mind begin to flow like a river, powerful, flow towards the sea now. Feel your mind strengthening as it merges with like-minded people, just as the stream merges with other streams into the river. And it flows towards the sea, and your mind flows towards the sea of infinite possibilities. There's an infinite number of choices available to you in life, and your mind now is river-like, flowing towards this ocean of infinite possibilities. Embrace these possibilities and feel yourself evolve as a person. During this session, we're now going to demonstrate, or I'm now going to demonstrate, the descending count deepener. This can also be used as a deepener, as many inductions can do. And what we do on the descending count deepener, we count backwards from 10 to 1, and every time we do a descending count, i.e. from 10 to 9, we reinforce that the client is going deeper into trance. So here we go. So Ian, I'm going to count backwards now, and on each number you'll find yourself going deeper and deeper into a state of serenity, relaxation or trance. Here we go. And on 10, feel yourself drifting drearily, droopily down, deeper into trance. And 9 and 8, feel that trance-like state now becoming deeper and deeper. And on 7 and 6, going right down within yourself now, to that chamber of transformation deep within you. And on 5 and 4, feel this relaxation intensifying 100-fold now. And on 3, 2, 1, right down deep within yourself to that chamber of transformation. That's good. And now I'd like to bring your attention to what are called embedded commands. Now, an embedded command is a statement that is embedded in a seemingly normal sentence. So if I say to you the sentence, when you go into hypnosis, you'll feel very relaxed. The embedded command there is go into hypnosis. It's embedded in a sentence. And when we use such embedded commands, we should leave space around them and slightly emphasize them so that they become embedded in our client's unconscious mind. Let me demonstrate this now. So Ian, as you go deeper into hypnosis, you may find that your breathing becomes much deeper, and you breathe into your diaphragm. And as you go deeper into hypnosis, you'll find yourself becoming much more relaxed, much more serene, much more tranquil, going deeper down within, finding that inner quietness, finding that inner chamber where all possibilities lay, that ocean of infinite possibilities. And as you go into hypnosis, you'll feel your awareness travelling down deep within you. So it's important with embedded commands to emphasize words such as down, deeper, drearily, droopily, anything that is conducive with relaxation. And we leave space around these words and these phrases in order that our client can digest them and they become embedded deep within the deepest parts of their mind. So now I'm going to demonstrate another fractionation technique. And to reiterate, fractionation is a process whereby we take our client into trance and bring them out, but each time we bring them out and take them back into trance, they go into trance much deeper. And it's said that this can bring on somnambulism, which is the deepest state of trance, quickly. So let's look at another technique for doing it. And this technique I'm going to use with Ian now is a very simple one. I'm going to count down so I'm going to get Ian to close his eyes. I would have probably been through maybe the diaphragmatic breathing technique. And what I'm going to do, he'll have his eyes closed. And then what I'll do, I'll count down from 3 to 1. I'll ask Ian to open his eyes, and then I will say sleep. And then I will keep doing that so that he's opening his eyes. But each time I will make the suggestion that he will go much deeper into trance. So here we go, Ian. So 3, 2, 1, eyes open and sleep. 3, 2, 1, eyes open and sleep. This time going much deeper, and feel your awareness going deep down within. And 3, 2, 1, eyes open and sleep. Your awareness going deep down within you, down to that chamber of transformation. 3, 2, 1, eyes open and sleep, going deeper and deeper. One more time. 3, 2, 1, eyes open and sleep, going deeper and deeper, 100 times deeper now into that state of beautiful relaxation. That's good. So as you can see, Ian is breathing quite deeply now, and in such a small space of time, we've got him in a beautiful, serene place. During this session, we're going to look at a technique called the Swish Pattern. Now, we think via association. We make associations, and we call the triggers to which we associate certain thought forms and thought patterns and feelings. We call these triggers in hypnotherapy, we tend to call them anchors. Although personally, I prefer the simple term of trigger. So, let's say when you were younger, a particular song reminded you, let's say, of your first romance. So you hear that song, the song becomes an auditory anchor, that means you hear something and it makes you think about a certain scenario, maybe your first love, and it brings them feelings up. You may also have another anchor that reminds you of bad times. You know, maybe when you were young you were involved in an accident, and a certain type of motor vehicle, certain type of car, every time you see it, it sends you back to that time when you perhaps had a crash in the car and you feel bad. It brings up the upset that was surrounded that scene and that experience. So you can see that anchors or triggers are very powerful, and we're responding to anchors or triggers. Every day we respond to millions of them. They basically contribute a large part to how we're programmed as people. So in hypnotherapy, we can utilize anchors to trigger specific psychological strategies that will evolve us as human beings. And that's basically what we're going to do here with what is known as the Swish Pattern. So with the Swish Pattern, we get the person to imagine a scenario with the full screen of consciousness. Imagine perhaps what they want to move away from, and let that fill the full screen of consciousness. And then we may put a postage size stamp picture in the corner of that scene of where they want to move to. This is better demonstrated actually through an example. So let me do it via an example with Ian. So welcome back, Ian. So we've done weight loss with you. You want to do weight loss. Okay, so what is your favourite food? What would you say is your downfall where food is concerned?
Probably cook breakfast.
So cook breakfast, bacon, sausage, egg, tomato. I can see your lips are licking at them, and your taste buds are in full flight. Okay, so obviously this is something you would like to come away from, to improve your health, to lose weight. Okay, so what motivates you? Here we're going to look at motivation. Let me just address the people first of all and talk about away from and towards motivation. Away from motivation, which means that to do something they want to move away. So if Ian was away from motivated, he might say he doesn't want to eat breakfast now because he doesn't want to feel lethargic and he doesn't want to be in bad health. You see, all the things that the breakfast may do to his health, he would want to move away from. Now, if he told me he wanted to move away from that stuff, I could say that he was primarily away from motivated, and I would utilise that in the session. Now, if he was towards motivated, which I happen to know Ian is, what he would do, he'd say, I want to stop eating those breakfasts on a daily basis or frequently because I want to have good health. I want to fit into nice clothes. I want to feel energetic. You see, then he wants to move towards something which makes him primarily towards motivated. Now, I must bring to your attention that all human beings have both for, towards, and away from motivated, but they'll lean towards one way or the other. They'll have a propensity towards motivation or away from motivation. So Ian, when we give up breakfasts, what's the primary reason? What would you like to gain by not eating breakfasts?
Mainly to lose weight and be healthy.
So would you picture yourself as healthy, or how do you think, when you think about, how do you see it in your mind, how do you sense it in your mind?
Lot slimmer,
seeing yourself as a lot slimmer. There's a few things we should do here. We should utilise the information that Ian's given us here. we should utilise it because it's meaningful for him. We should utilise it in our session. Each session should become subjective. And utilisation is something that we need to discuss, and we'll discuss that in another session. But first I'll demonstrate the swish pattern using the information Ian's given me. So he said that the worst culprit for him putting on weight is cooked English breakfasts. Okay, but he would like to move towards seeing himself towards feeling energetic, to fit in decent clothes, to being healthy. These are all things he's told me before, so I'm privy to this information. So what we're doing really is we're putting a breakfast on Ian's screen of consciousness, and we're making it as big as we possibly can. But then when he sees this breakfast, instead of acting unconsciously and just eating it and forgetting, we want to bring to his attention that really he wants to aim towards getting more healthy and feeling more energetic. Okay, so what we do is we put on his screen of consciousness a big picture of a breakfast, and in the corner we put a postage size stamp picture of the way he wants to be, and then I count to 3, 1, 2, 3, and the breakfast will swish backwards, if you like, and the way he wants to be will come to the fore of his consciousness. So we've got this sort of movement. See the breakfast, think what you really want. See the breakfast, think healthy. See the breakfast, don't have the breakfast, because this is what will happen to you. You'll become energetic. You'll achieve your goals in life. So we're making an association. We're making Ian very aware that when he sees the breakfast, when he feels like a breakfast, instead of acting in an unconscious way and just eating it, we're reminding him what he wants, and this will be the association. Breakfast, no, want to be healthy. Breakfast, no, want to be healthy. So let's demonstrate it now, Ian. Okay, so just close your eyes for a minute, Ian, and imagine a big screen in front of you, a massive screen, your screen of consciousness, your favourite movie screen. And on that, I want you to fill that screen, your screen of consciousness, with your favourite breakfast, sausage, egg, bacon, beans, and so on. Feel it, make it big, make it fill your screen of consciousness. And in the corner, postage size stamp, picture of you being really healthy, very slim, and wearing your favourite clothes, feeling really energetic. Okay, in a second, Ian, I'm going to count up from 1 to 3, and when I reach 3, I want you to swish them 2 pictures so that the breakfast diminishes in size and the way you want to be energetic, healthy, comes to the fore and fills your screen of consciousness. So fill your screen of consciousness now with the breakfast. 1, 2, 3, and swish. And now see yourself as energetic, as healthy, see yourself wearing your favourite clothes, really slim, feeling very healthy and energetic. Okay, just white out that screen in your mind and think about having your first glass of water this morning when you woke up. What I'm doing here, incidentally, is I'm breaking state, because we go in a certain direction when we do the swish pattern. So we go from breakfast to being the way he wants to be health-wise. Now, if we do that backwards without breaking state, it's going to reverse the process. So what we do here, we take their attention away from the process altogether by asking them a question that is not pertinent to this session whatsoever. So again, Ian, think of yourself having your first glass of water or your first cup of tea this morning. Okay. Incidentally, the question I normally ask to break state is, what did you have for breakfast this morning? But I think in this particular scenario, it wouldn't be quite right. So here we go again. Let's demonstrate the swish pattern once again, and we're making this association between this breakfast and how Ian wants to be if he doesn't have the breakfast. So once again, Ian, fill your screen of consciousness. Fill it with beans, sausage, your cooked English breakfast. Really fill it. There we go. And in the corner, I want you to have a postage size stamp of how you want to be. And in a second, I'm going to count up from 1 to 3. When I reach 3, the big breakfast will diminish into the background, and the picture of you being healthy will rocket forward and fill your screen of consciousness. What we're doing here is that we're making an association, so when Ian sees the breakfast, he immediately thinks, no, that's not what I want this. And you'll see himself as healthy. So here we go. Fill your screen of consciousness with this big breakfast, and in the corner have a postage size stamp of you being energetic in your favourite clothes, feeling really healthy. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, and swish. So the breakfast diminishes and goes into the background, and propelled forward is this picture of you. Let it fill your screen of consciousness now. Turn up the brightness, turn up the sounds, really immerse yourself in that feeling and that scene of you in your favourite clothes. Feeling slim, feeling energetic, looking slim, looking good. Immerse yourself in that, Ian. Think now of your first cup of tea this morning, break state. And okay, fill your screen of consciousness with the breakfast again, Ian. Make the breakfast big, make it fill your screen of consciousness, and see your energetical state as a postage size picture towards the bottom of this scene. Okay, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. 1, 2, 3, and swish, and allow that picture of you being energetic, and allow that picture of you being energetic and feeling healthy to come to the fore, to fill your screen of consciousness. Now what I'm going to do something called submodality manipulation, so that Ian imagines this and it's more prominent in his mind. I'm going to ask him to turn up the sound and the picture and brighten the picture and absorb himself in the picture. And these are called submodalities, which is something we'll discuss in another session. So here we go, one last time, Ian. This time, fill your screen of consciousness with the breakfast. The postage-sized picture of you feeling energetic and healthy in the corner. 1, 2, 3, and swish. So forward comes this small picture, and it fills your screen of consciousness now, projects forward so that you can see yourself healthy, looking slim, feeling energetic. Turn up the sounds, turn up the volume, turn up the brightness. Really immerse yourself so you're experiencing it through your own senses. Really immerse yourself deeply in the scene and feel good. Feel that feel good factor. So in this session, I'm going to talk about something called utilization or acquisition. Many new hypnotherapists or inexperienced hypnotherapists will go onto the internet and they will get a script, a generic script for, say, weight loss, smoking cessation. And really, this has no significance to the client. What we need to do is to glean or elicit some information that pertains, that's meaningful to our client, and we need to tailor our scripts, to tailor our interventions to something that is meaningful for the client. I'm going to take this subject up in further discussions in the future, but for now I would like to just get some information so I can tailor a relaxing deepener to something that's meaningful and subjective to Ian, my client for today. So Ian, can you tell me, give me an idea of what sort of scene makes you relax, sends you into a nice state of tranquility?
I think down by the seaside myself.
The seaside, okay. So Ian said the seaside relaxes him. Now, we take in all information through our senses. I've said this before, our 5 senses. visual, auditory, olfactory, which is smell, gustatory, which is taste, and kinesthetic, which is feeling. And I shouldn't say to Ian, although I know he's quite visual, I don't have that information on a lot of my clients. So I need to engage all his sense modalities or her sense modalities internally. So I need to bring in to this deepening session that he or she can smell things, perhaps can taste things, can see things, and you get the idea. Engage maybe not all the sense modalities, but engage certainly 2 or 3 of them. The more the merrier, quite frankly. Okay, and also use information that's pertinent to the client. Another trick here is that I've spoke about the sense modalities: visual, auditory, olfactory, kinesthetic and gustatory. I've talked about them, but these have building blocks. So for instance, a picture is more effective when it's a movie. So if I want to reinforce something that's positive in Ian's mind, I should encourage him to run a coloured movie of it in his mind. And not only that, I should encourage him to become associated into the scene. Now, association means that he can't see himself in the scene because he's experiencing it as though he's actually there. He's immersed in the scene. It's much more powerful. It's imagined much more powerful. It makes the imagination much more powerful when a person is associated to the contents of their mind. Okay, vice versa, if somebody's experiencing something that's difficult and you want to detach them from that, maybe they're feeling an emotional upset, you want to dissociate them from. So say a person, for instance, is experiencing some trauma from childhood, you may say to them, okay, what I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to see the scene on a television screen, and I'd like you to turn the colour to black and white, and you have the control for the television set, so they feel in control. You've taken them out of the scenario by saying you're watching this on a TV set. They know then they're not immersed in it, they're not living it as though it's happening, and this will calm down their emotions. So it's important, association, dissociation. Also, getting back to Ian's scenario now, utilisation, acquisition, finding out what is useful and what Ian finds meaningful when we're looking at relaxation, and utilising it, tailoring your script so it becomes subjective to your client, engaging all the sense modalities, or quite a few of the sense modalities, 2 or 3, utilising the submodalities like volume or brightness to enhance the scene as well. Let's demonstrate. So Ian, I'd like you to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths and allow this soothing scene to come to mind. You find yourself at the top of 10 steps that lead down to a beautiful coved beach, which is extremely tranquil. You can hear the sound of the seabirds overhead, and you watch as they glide in the different flow of airs. You can feel that flow, that breeze caressing your face, and you feel so good as you begin to descend these steps down towards the beach. And on 10 and 9, going down to that cove, to that beautiful golden sand that lies below, and you go deeper down inside yourself immersing yourself in this scene. And on 8 and 7, you come nearer to that beautiful golden sand, feeling the warmth of the sun on your face and watching the white wash of the waves as they come in and lap gently on the shore. And on 6, 5 and 4, you descend them steps within yourself, going deeper within. And on 3, and you take another step down towards that cove within you. And 2, 1, sit now on this bottom step and take off your training shoes or sandals and begin to amble on this beautiful, serene beach. Feel the sand beneath your toes and the warmth of the sand on the soles of your feet as you amble gently. You can almost taste the salt water and smell it as it hangs in the air. Smell that beautiful sea breeze. And there's the sense of some wild flowers that pervade your senses. And you look up to the beautiful clear blue sky and watch the gulls hovering overhead, peacefully, gently, gliding in the airflows that lay above. The scene is so tranquil. You can hear the sound of the gentle waves lapping onto the beach and feel the warmth of that sun as you go deeper within yourself. Be there now, Ian, and experience it firsthand through your own senses. Experience it now, firsthand through your own senses, feeling the warmth of the sun, hearing the sound of the gulls above, tasting and smelling the salt air that pervades your senses. This all contributes to you going into a beautiful state of serenity and tranquility. That's good. So you can see I ad-libbed that. I done it off the cuff as we go, and I just incorporated the information that Ian had given me. That was personal to him, that was subjective. I incorporated it into my Deepener, and I also utilised all the sense modalities, engaging all the senses within, so that his imagination was fired. And bear in mind, the brain doesn't distinguish between reality and imagination. So if Ian is imaginative, he can be immersed in that, and his brain will respond as though he was really there. So we engaged all the submodalities. We engaged some of the submodalities as well. Turn the brightness up, associate himself within the scene, immerse himself within the scene, and all this will contribute to his depth of trance becoming much more profound.